From Studio 1A in Tampa, Florida, comes a talk show that really feels your pain and tells you like it is. We love America and all that freedom-loving Americans want to protect. Live from coast to coast and on your radio, it's For the People with Keith Allen.
We'll help you survive this thing called life. We're for the people. Whatever your source of stress or strife, for the people is there.
Hello, my friends. I am Keith Allen and proudly welcoming you to For the People on this Monday, August the 7th, 2017. I think there's a lunar eclipse that's going to be witnessed here in America and more prevailing in the United States this time around. And then something this Thursday, one of my friends said that something that does not happen but once every 100 years. So I guess it's going to be a total eclipse. So it'll be cool. The moon looked very big this morning, very large. It's a big moon, and it's the 7th. If you're into numbers and astrology and all that other stuff, I always find it most fascinating. This weekend, made a trip to see the founder of the broadcast, Chuck Harder, and for many of you that love Chuck, I have photos, and a lot of people have been commenting on Facebook with the photographs that I took of me and Chuck by himself, and then the signature nursing home sign, but got to experience a little bit and got to speak with Chuck and got some audio too. Got to hear from him, but he was in very good spirits. And I asked Chuck some questions, and I said, Chuck, well, first of all, for some of your audience that may not know, how did you end up in a nursing home?
Well, I came here after a heart surgery, and I'm planning to go back home as soon as finances permit, but I had to come here after the heart surgery.
How are you doing?
I'm okay, but I don't like it here.
I don't think anybody really particularly likes a nursing home, but I would have to say the one that my mother-in-law is in, and she's been back in the hospital. She's going back today. She's been in and out. She has congestive heart failure, so they have to get the water off her heart, and then she goes back. But her situation, it seems like she gets, a little better care there, a little, but definitely not a very desirable place. So I asked Chuck, I said, what is your biggest complaint there?
Noise.
Yeah, noises.
Very noisy, and no privacy, and it's very uncomfortable.
And I picked up some noise from the nursing home, and I'll play that in just a little bit, but I thought it would be probably interesting to find out. I mean, Chuck, what a great mind that he's been through the years. He still watches the news. His mind is still sharp, but I said, in the news, is there anything that personally concerns you?
I think North Korea is going to be a big problem. I think they're going to wind up getting military involved, but I think it's going to be a big problem.
We've been talking about it here on For the People for quite a while, and, some people have been downplaying North Korea. They've been threatening us, and because of the sanctions, we're tightening the screws. The United Nations, it was unanimous. China came aboard finally to say we got to crack down because they're, a member of the United Nations. They agreed finally. So North Korea vowed today that they're going to strike the United States with 1,000-fold revenge. This is their words. 1,000-fold revenge, like I say, after the United Nations imposed new sanctions in response to a recent, remember that ICBM missile launch? All right, well, the dictatorship official of the KCNA news agency described the recent sanctions as crimes that were a violent violation of our sovereignty and the heinous plot to isolate and stifle the communist country. Okay. North Korea, which consistently threatens to send gift packages to the U.S., vowed to take righteous action that would make America pay thousands of times. So it's a fiery response for this whole deal, and not a surprise. I mean, I think the guy absolutely is a nut job, complete nut job. A lot of people say, oh, no, they're very calculative. They're very intelligent. I don't think the guy, the weird hairdo guy, Swiss cheese and beer guy, I think he's pure evil. And I knew that there's going to be temper tantrums is going to happen. And, the talking heads, that's what they do. They pontificate. But, we get it right. And a large portion of the time because we pay attention. Something that Chuck was able to do through his crystal ball for years is be able to give the information and the straight skinny on what's going on rather than watering it down. The rhetoric is not rhetoric. Okay, folks, he's launched the missiles. Okay, 2 ICBM missiles. Okay, if that doesn't scare the crap out of you, they go up and then they can be positioned to go anywhere they want to go. And whatever is on the ICBM, that's the kicker. And they're working with Iran, and they've gotten equipment from China that's been in on it. So it's very interesting, and they're going to continue launching this stuff, and they're going to continue on. Military escalation. Some people say, oh, well, they're going to settle in on the sanctions, and then everything's going to settle in, and everything's going to be hunky-dory, but it's going to take about a year because they don't want to admit that it's hurting them, but it's going to be about a year. And who suffers, obviously, is the poor people there of North Korea, not Un himself, because he'll have plenty of food, and his peeps will have plenty of food. But to me, it's a shame. Anyway, it was good to hear from Chuck, right? But I then asked him another good question for those of you that want to make money, a little consumer question. Chuck was great at it. Any advice for folks to make money? And this is what he had to say.
Well, I think that silver is going to go back up. I predicted years ago that gold would, and it did. It's about $1,300 an ounce.
$1,300.
Right at.
So you should diversify. Can you mess around with your 401k and?
You can buy silver, yeah.
So switch over. How much of a portfolio should go into silver?
A lot.
Well, there you go. Get silver. Buy silver. Chuck's never been wrong about that. He's got the pulse, so make sure you diversify and buy lots of silver. Great advice. Chuck knows about that. And before Sonny Block got locked up, if you remember those days, Chuck gave great advice. And, folks, he's in a nursing home. And I wanted you to kind of hear some of the sounds. And I've mentioned some of the sounds in the promos that we play because we're raising money to buy Chuck an iPad. Thanks for our listener in Southern California. He had mentioned in his email, and he's trying to raise some money to get an iPad. He said, Rush Limbaugh gives away iPads. Well, Rush Limbaugh makes millions of dollars. If he wants to give Chuck one, that would be awesome. I don't know if he's going to give another talk show host, former talk show host, because Chuck was on, over 350 stations. But if the kindness of his heart, if he wants to do that, that would be great. But we still have a way to go. I'd like to say that we've raised it, but we got $539 to go. We've raised $260, so we can get there, folks. If everybody would just give a little something, I think we can make this happen. But Chuck certainly needs a little bit more going on in his life, considering this was yesterday's sound early afternoon in Gainesville, Florida. Take a listen. This is in Chuck's room. From a laptop computer, I'm recording this. Can you imagine? All right, so, and that was a mild day. You heard right, it's mild. Okay, this is a room away. So this lady's wailing while the doors to the bathroom that separate room to room pretty paper thin, and then the echo of the bathroom. But when there's two people doing it, the two guys, the last time I was there, this woman was kind of new. Didn't hear that, but she sounded like she was in agony, and it was just, if you had headphones, you could block it out. So, with an iPad where, they got great conductivity there because I could log on with my iPad, which was terrific. Folks, please, make a difference. See the slideshow that we have on our website right now at forthepeopleshow.com. There's a little slideshow, mobile version, desktop version, forthepeopleshow.com. See Chuck now. We did have a picture up for a little over a week with Chuck, then, which was over 20 years ago. But here it is now, a little older, obviously, 20 years older. And, he's frail. But he's bedridden, and he can't get out of bed, can't get in a wheelchair, can't go outside. He's 24/7 in that bed. And I thought an iPad would be a nice gesture. And I told him that we were kind of doing a little something, and hopefully we can surprise him with a little something, but he has no idea really what we were doing. So, friends of Chuck, friends of our program, what we're about. Regularly we talk about many other things, many other headlines. We try to stuff as much in with local headlines, national headlines, very important stories like North Korea. But we're changing formats until we actually raise the money. And I know we can do this. We can get this done sooner rather than later. But I need you to please at least minimally give $1. You can pick the denominator of what it is. But again, we're short today, and it's $539 that we need to raise now to get up to that $799. We're trying to get an iPad Pro for Chuck. It's the bigger one because he's, he can't see very, very well, and this will be a godsend really for him. And you heard that sound, which just is agonizing. ForThePeoplesShow.com. God bless you.
Some people talk about forever, like it's a time that never comes. Hey, but just like days we thought would last, time goes by so fast. Tomorrow's come and gone.
Our lives are treasure that we're given, and every hour is ours to spend. But every moment that we waste can never be replaced. It never comes again.
We get so caught up in the future that we don't take the time to live today. And how long does it take to love each other, to believe with every day there's a difference we can make? How long will it take to start all over if we finally realize that we've been wasting so much time? What matters most is hard to measure, yeah, with no beginning